Welcome to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. Go for good times, go for GoMart. With me, I've had Acrobatics and Tumbling coach Taylor Broadwater. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, you took the long trip out to Hawaii to face off with Hawaii Pacific University. It was a big day. You scored your highest point total of the year. You were down trailing going into the team event. You were able to pull that off, outscore them there. Just your thoughts on the win there.
I'm very proud of what the girls did. It definitely hands down our best meet of the season. We're definitely peaking at the right time, so that's good to see. I feel like the girls' confidence finally showed at this meet in their execution and just what they put out there on the floor. They had fun, they were relaxed, and they did what I know that we're capable of doing. And I can still see progress being made now that we've been back too, so that's always nice to see as well.
And then a few weeks ago, we talked about, being able to go to Hawaii, take a trip. It's something you've been planning for years now. So now that you've done it, you've been there, how was the trip, for you and also just for your girls in general?
It was a wonderful experience. It went better than I could have asked for, honestly. And I just think that now after taking a trip like that and going to Hawaii, my team is more bonded than they've ever been. So I can tell like trips like that really help the team camaraderie and stuff like that. So we're in a very good place now after that meet, and just it was good to get away from acro a little bit and to kind of let the girls have fun and be together without the stress of acro.
And now moving on, you're back to Mountain East Conference play. You'll face off with West Virginia State this week. They're 2-4 this year, 0-4 in the league. Picked up a few wins. Their highest score so far is a win against Bluefield State at 213. So looking at the scores, you guys obviously have outscored them, by about 50 or 60 points going in. So just give me your thoughts, on the expectations there for that meet coming up.
The expectation always is us against ourselves. I always want the girls to improve. Based off of what we maybe did at the last meet or prior, and just like focusing on improving our scores and what we're capable of doing. So the girls know what the expectation is come Thursday, and I think the biggest thing is I just want to continue to see them execute and to put on the floor what I know that we can do, because I still think that we can be a better team than we are right now, even though I'm extremely proud of my girls and what they've done this season. But I can say I'm excited for Thursday, and I think the girls really are too.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on in. Good luck this week.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I've head track and field coach Dan Meyers. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Jagger, thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, it's been about 3 weeks since you've last competed. Has it been kind of a nice, little mental, physical reset? How's that, that time been away from a meet been?
Yeah, I think it's been excellent in terms of our training. A lot of the group went home for spring break last year, but our throws group, is one of our most important groups on the squad. They stayed here and trained together, and with the great weather, our distance runners and sprinters have been able to get a lot more track work in than we did during the indoor season. And truthfully, I was very happy with what we accomplished in terms of all the personal bests and stuff we were able to accomplish during indoor, with our lack of the time on the track, due to the weather, which, everyone's dealing with. Mm-hmm. But overall, the last 3 weeks have been nice for like a mental reset to really focus on training. After the next 2 weeks, after probably we get through Charlotte and our West Lib meet, we're going to be kind of dialing some things back. I mean, we're only 40 days out from our outdoor conference meet. So our outdoor season is very shrunk with the way the calendar was this year. We're looking forward to Charlotte this weekend for sure.
And also want to talk about Natalie Barr. She was all region for the second consecutive year in the indoor season. Just talk a little bit about her and, these accomplishments that she's been able to achieve so far.
Yeah, she didn't have the conference meet that she wanted in terms of the 800. But, that mark that she threw out there at the Marshall meet prior to conference, I knew would probably get her in the all-region conversation again with that 215. And, just to talk about, she's had a few disappointing conference performances on the track, but she's always bounced back for her team, and that's what I'm really, really proud of her for. Like last year, an outdoor wasn't what she wanted, came out and logged a 5K in 70-some degree weather, which isn't one of her premier events. She did it again in indoor, scoring points for us again to make up for, the 800, logging a very, very solid 3K time. So that just goes to show what type of athlete she is and what type of competitor she is. And she's been a great leader for us this year. But, not just it being the second straight indoor season for her to be all region, every single season that she's been here as a freshman, sophomore, she's been all region. So cross country as a freshman and sophomore, she was all region. Indoor as a freshman and a sophomore, and then outdoor last year, and hopefully another outdoor this year. So she's been in the all region conversation, and we're going to try to get her some fast marks this outdoor season. She'll be at Charlotte obviously, and then she's going to be going to the Bucknell meet that we're going to have in April, and then we'll probably do another last chance again post conference. So she's going to have another big chance to get another all region accolade.
And you mentioned Charlotte. You'll be there this weekend, Friday, Saturday, I believe. You mentioned the season's a little shrunk this year. So what do you want to see as you begin the outdoor season? Especially, things are going to have to happen a little bit faster this year.
Yeah, I don't want to be greedy, but I definitely see 3 or 4 school records that we can take off the outdoor board. And as you know, a majority of the indoor records have came from my time here, but our outdoor teams in the late 80s, mid 90s, specifically on the guys side, were very, very strong. Yep. And there's some records that we've been really wanting to get off there for a while. And I definitely think with Pat Riley, Nick Pitchford, with what Natalie can do, with what the events we're going to put Jenna Barnett in on the outdoor season, then along with Addie and Janae in the throws. I mean, I think there's a lot of records that can be taken down this outdoor season. So off the bat, I'd like to see a few school records. It's a really good meet in terms of if you're a middle distance runner, you get 1,500 on Friday and 800 on Saturday. Or if you're 4.8, you can get 4 on Friday. So there's a lot of break in between the meets. So it really allows us to get some great marks down. And then the throwing facilities are phenomenal. So that's excellent for our throwers. It's looking like mid 60s on Friday and about mid 70s on Saturday. So we're really, really looking forward to that. We're taking a bigger group than usual, which I told the team's not always easiest on the budget, but they were our indoor qualifiers, and those are the ones that showed up big for us in the conference setting. So those are the ones that are going to go get us some big marks down in Charlotte, and we've added a few people to that list that are more primary towards outdoor events, but. I mean, we're going to have a great showing from Aaron Kuffner and Diggy Hashman in the hurdles, on both 110s and 4s. So there's a lot of different tricks up our sleeve for the outdoor season that we're really looking forward to.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on, and good luck this week.
Yep, thank you.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I have head men's basketball coach Bob Bolen. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Jagger, thank you for having me.
All right, Coach. We didn't get to talk to you last week after the tournament, but you beat Charleston in the quarterfinals of the MEC tournament. You beat them 77-65. You moved on to play Fairmont State, the eventual MEC champion, Fairmont State. Lost to them 75-62. Just give me your overall thoughts on how you felt the MEC tournament went.
Well, I thought the end of the year we were really playing well. I think we won 7 of our last 10, and we were able to beat Concord that last MEC regular season game on their home court by almost 20. So we went into the tournament with a lot of momentum, and then played really well against Charleston. I mean, it was a tie game with 10 minutes to go, and we were able to pull away, for a really good win. Then we got in the semis against Fairmont, and it was about the same thing. I think, we were up 1 with about 10:30, and with 9 minutes, we had a really good look at a 3 to put us back up 1, and didn't hit it, and they went on the run. And, just carbon copy of the night before against Charleston, close game, we were able to go on the run. And I give Fairmont a lot of credit. They had a lot of veterans. They started 4 fifth-year seniors, and Joe Lander, who I said has played 27 years, but he's their all-conference player. And, they were a veteran team. We had some young freshmen that really produced, and sophomore in Prince Monsingo. And our young guys really were up to the challenge, and Fairmont just pulled away there at the end.
And then looking back overall at the season, you finished 17-13. If you don't count the shortened COVID season, it's only the second winning season in the last 10 years at Glenville State. Just give me kind of your overall view on how you felt the season went, just as a whole.
Well, I thought we took a step in the right direction, in year 2 here of us being in the program, and year 3, that's the plan to take a big jump. But we made the semifinals, finished the regular season strong, have a great great group of guys returning next year, and I think the program's definitely going in the right direction.
And you mentioned that want to make that big jump next year. You now head into the the ever so important offseason. I mean, as it looks now, you're set to bring back some really good freshmen, including one who I'm sure if you could see the votes was probably second freshman of the year voting. You get Rye Gadd back from injury. Prince Mosingo's back. Corey Bolen. Then you get Jalen Knott, who's a former MEC freshman of the year while he was at AB. What's your plan now as you build for next year with those returning cast?
Well, we have to go out and replace Devin Collins and Paul. So we have to go out and get us a couple 6'7", 6'8" guys that can play, and that's what we're looking for right now. When you take those three freshmen, Elijah, Mar, and Donnie, they had great years for freshmen. I mean, all three of them improved. Donnie lost 47 pounds from when he arrived, and Elijah got all tournament in the MEC tournament, and Amar was second team all conference. So, 3 great years for those freshmen. Then you got Prince, coming off almost averaging a double-double. So that's 4. And then you bring Rye Gadd back, who preseason, was one of the best players on the team before he hurt his knee. And then Jalen Knott, he can just flat out play. So we have those. And you got Corey Bolen, who's a big-time shooter. And Jordan's a tough defender. And, that's a good group of guys to start out. And, we'll still have 3 or 4 scholarships left to bring in other guys. So we expect a good recruiting season, and we're going to work hard to find the right fit for Glenville and the right guys. And, we'd like to take a run at that MEC championship next year.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and congrats on the good season.
Okay, thank you, Jagger.
Get ready to hit the road with GoMart. Each month, we're featuring a special item to fuel your journey and score you bonus reward points in our Road to Rewards promotion. Each purchase earns you a token, so load up and keep cruising toward big rewards. Plus, the top 25 token earners each month will receive 5,000 additional bonus reward points. Check the GoMart app to see this month's featured item. And as always, earn additional savings on products store-wide with reward member exclusives. Go to GoMart.com for more details.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me now, I have head wrestling coach Dylan Cottrell. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, happy to be back.
All right, Coach, you just wrapped up the national tournament down there in Indianapolis. You come back with 4 All-Americans. It's the most in school history with Colton Drusius, Nick Johnson, Gabe Honorado, and Kyle Hammett. Nick Johnson placed the highest at 5th place at 197. Just keeping it with those guys, what was it like to be able to have 4 guys earn All-American status?
Yeah, that Friday night was pretty electric. We went 4 for 5 in the blood round, and anybody who knows wrestling, having 5 of your 7 wrestlers in the blood round, was it 5 or was it 4? 4 that round, right? That's tough because you're either going to be pretty happy after that session or you're going to be pretty upset, right? And so, we had 3 different ones in that. Nick Johnson made the semis, so he was already. But that round was at the same time, and so, for a coach, man, that's a tough one. Now, that round was great for us. That round was really great for us. We did have 4 because we had a guy in that one too. He lost, so we went 3 for 4 in that round. I think I'm trying to think of how it went. With it going there, you start with Nick because he's wrestling in the same round, before the Bloods, and so I'm over there coaching Nick, and Colton's wrestling, where the weight classes go over. Colton's wrestling is blood round, so he's a round ahead, and so I didn't even get to really coach that match. I'm coaching Nick to see if he wins in the quarters. We have a crazy match against Kavian, who. Nick had lost to twice in the year. We beat Kavian, pin him actually in a big scramble late in the match, and so I'm going crazy, and I'm locked in on this match. That's a big win. That's a semifinalist for us, and so we're hoping Nick can possibly get to the national finals the next day. And I look over, and Colton has a 2 seed in the tournament. Stud Morris, who had been on a real tear, he had beat Colton earlier this year as well. And Colton's up 4-3. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Got a good chance here. And so I'm watching from the corner or, from the side, and Coach Andrietto's over there. And I'm watching, and it's getting late, and Colton gets hit with a stall, and it was 4-2, I think, and that makes it 4-3. And he gave up a stall a little bit early. There's maybe 40 seconds in the match, and so you're hoping Coach is telling him, which he is, you got to hold center. You can't run away for 40 seconds. You're going to get hit. We're going to go to overtime. You've wasted this. And I was getting a little nervous because Colton starts backing up again, right? And then boom, hits a big double leg, right? Sets the kid right on his butt. goes up 7-4, rides him out the rest. A huge win, right? Huge win for Colton. He's unseeded, he took a lot of early season losses. He was kind of joking. He ended up getting 8th, but he said, I got 7th in the Glenville Invite, right? The first tournament of the year, right? With a bunch of, I don't want to say nobodies, but compared to what the NCAA tournament is, he said, I got 7th, right? In that tournament, and I get 8th in the NCAA tournament. And he's, and so that's just a big change for him over the year. And man, that was a big match. Yeah, I know he wrestled a great tournament, and really excited for him and that. And so you roll off of Nick making the semis and Colton, you get a little break, and then Gabe comes up. Gabe wrestles a guy that he'd lost to early in the year, right? Again, a lot of these guys wrestled above their seed and beat guys who had beat them throughout the year, and that's what we want. The day could have went better, right?
Obviously, yeah.
But, Gabe wrestles this Gannon kid who beat him pretty bad, honestly, early in the year, and really controlled the whole match, was in control the whole time, had the kids super frustrated, wrestled really well on top. Boom, there's another All-American. Now you got 3. Guy comes up, and that's kind of where it, that one sucked because he's been with me for a long time, and he's wrestling the guy who he just lost to in the regional finals. We had prepared for that match. He goes out, boom, takes him down right off the bat, and he looks good, right? He looks really good. Gets in on another shot. They get in a scramble. He makes a half a second mistake on holding on to the leg during the scramble, loses the scramble, gets pinned early in the match. And that's just one of those ones, man. It happens so fast, and it's just a small mistake. The kid he's wrestling's a pinner, right? Might have had the most pins in the country. And so that one just sucks because it, again, looks like guys wrestling good enough to come back, get 3rd in the country again. And I have no doubt that he would have, and so that one's tough. That one's tough for when you're senior guys, and especially coming off all the momentum, and then Kyle comes out and he wrestles Waltz from McKendree, who he had beat pretty soundly earlier in the year, and he did kind of the same stuff with him, right? He really controlled the match and took him down in all positions. And so that Friday night was pretty electric, right? You go and you put 4 or 5 that are still in the tournament into All-American contention. You're super pumped. You're 4th. We were 4th.
At the end of Friday.
At the end of Friday, right? And that's with your number 1 seed being out. So that was exciting. And then Saturday happened. So Saturday was not good for us, right? We won a total of 2 matches in the whole day. So I think we went 2-6. And so, it's just that tournament, man, there's a lot of ups and downs. And even going 2-6, it wasn't, we were in matches. We just couldn't find the takedowns that we needed that we found on Friday night. We really couldn't. And so, I think even with the guys where they placed, multiple of our guys that placed could have placed higher. And I think they believe that as well. But having 4 All-Americans is freaking awesome. It's freaking awesome. And so I'm super excited about it. I'm not dwelling too much on really where we finished as a team, just because of, we did a lot of other cool things that day and had a lot of adversity, right? And so, they wrestled well, and I'm super excited for it, and I'm super excited for those guys to, be pumped for next year. And, we got 3 returning All-Americans. So,
and you mentioned the ups and downs, the adversity. Isaiah Castro was also there. He was able to unplace. You mentioned Guy getting beat. Hayden Pummel, the number 1 seed. He had the really unfortunate injury there early in his opening match. He had a chance to win a national championship. When that happens, what's kind of going through your head, and what's that conversation like with him? As you both know, he's able to continue. He has a chance to win a national title. He gets hurt off the rip. So what's that like when you're, with him, as you're discussing that with him and just going through all that with him?
Yeah, a lot of that discussion's not for me, right? That's for our athletic trainer. I have no idea about that stuff, right? I'm just kind of getting told, I still have to go out there and coach the guys. When it happens, you're hoping not as bad as it might have looked, or he thinks. Just a weird position that, so you never want, right? You can't really control injuries, but you can control positions you wrestle in. And Hayden knows this, and he'd be the first one to tell you. right? That we've told him all year that, he's very good at getting in those splits, but that it's a dangerous position, and, it just sucks that it ended up being an injury at the NCAA tournament in a position like that. But, he knows that. But as much as someone knows that, right? I mean, myself does, you get in matches and things happen fast. The next thing you know, you're in a position, right? So there's no real blame on anyone. It just happens, but it is something that, he's going to have to work on next year of being more cognizant of not continuing to get in those positions with him having knee issues, right? And that just is what it is, right? But it's super unfortunate for him, man. He was having a heck of a year. He was tearing through. I mean, there's no reason for me to think he doesn't win a national title, especially with how that bracket played out. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but he's got another year, and we'll get him healthy. And, we're going to know more Friday about what it is, if it's going to end up being a surgery, a full, big, long recovery surgery, if it's going to be something that can heal on its own. But he's going to be out for a little bit. So, it's not an injury that he could have wrestled from, and really done anything.
Yeah.
He could have probably went back out there and hobbled along and tried it. It wouldn't have, I'd say it wouldn't have went well, and it probably would have for sure been a reconstruction surgery.
Yep.
Right. And so I think it was the right decision. Again, I'm not the one that's making that decision, right? That's our trainer and the head doctor there, right? And if they're telling me it's not good, I'm not going over to my athlete and saying, hey, man, you should push through this, right? Obviously, I want to win as much as Hayden does, right? And he's hurt. I'm hurt for him. But he's got another year. You have to, there's a lot of things that people don't understand about coaching that has to go on the fly, while I'm also trying to be out there and be present with all those other guys.
There's a lot of things going on at once.
Yeah, it's tough, right? And so, yeah, for Hayden, it sucks, right? He's going to be better from it. He's going to win a national title next year, and everything's going to be all right. And next year when he's out there, it's going to seem like forever ago that happened. And so, I'm excited for him to get healthy and get back to there. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, that's a lot of points, right? You can play the what if game, right? What if Hayden makes the finals, right? That's 20 points. We would have been fourth, right, as a team. And so that's how close 4th to 12th is.
Yeah.
Right. Guy easily wins that match, goes on, scores a lot of points. Casto, right? He had a tough first round match, but both of his matches were not unwinnable, right? I think the second match was more so a style problem, wasn't really used to the guy. I still think if you go wrestle that tournament 10 more times, there's 10 completely different outcomes. It's just a wild one, right? But I'm proud of all the guys. There's things that you wish didn't happen and things that you wish did. But you can't control those things, and that's what we've talked about all year. And so overall, pretty good weekend, 4 All-Americans, 3 of them returning, plus Hayden coming back as well. So I'm pretty excited about that. And, now you get into that next part of who we going to bring in to, who's going to be the next national champ for Glenville State that we bring in.
And you mentioned, all the accomplishments this past weekend. And when you look back at the season, the end goal was obviously to want to win a national title, but you're still able to win a second consecutive NBC title. It's the first ever Super Region Championship. You had 6 individual conference champions, 2 individual Super Region champions, 7 national qualifiers, the 4 All-Americans we mentioned. You reached as high as number 2 in the national rankings. When you look back at the season as a whole, what do you see? What do you look at?
I mean, yeah, we did a lot of cool things.
Yeah.
We did a lot of cool things as a group, and had a lot of adversity along the way, and different things here and there, and maneuvering different personalities, different people, different situations, and it was a lot. It was a stressful year, if I'm going to be honest. Right, probably the most stressful year that I've had as a coach, and so. But I think I got better for it. I think the guys got better for it. We learned a lot about who we want to be and what we want to be moving forward. And I think that's important, right? I'm always trying to get better at this no matter what. And I hope that our guys feel the same, right? I hope our guys feel the same, that they're never content with what they did or who they are. So, yeah, we're going to continue to focus on being better wrestlers, being better people, sons, fathers, whatever we are, right, and coaches, and continue to try to move forward and make this program better. But like you said, there's a lot of cool caveats that happened this year, and you're getting to where now you want those things to be routine, right? You want those things to be routine, and as cool as it is to at the end of the year say this, and this, right? We want it to get to where there's no news, right? There's no new things because we're doing it, right? We're doing everything that we say we're going to do, and that's the plan moving forward. Is taking a new group, the group that we have returning, a new group that's coming in, getting them all to buy in to what we have here, and then going and chasing, another national title, and along the way, doing a lot of cool little things. The kids call them the side quests, right? Doing a lot of the little side quests along the way on to our way to a national tournament.
And you mentioned, building for next year. You lose some guys, but you also mentioned you bring back 3 All-Americans. You bring back Hayden Pummel, who could have won a national title. You also bring back some underclassmen who maybe weren't in the lineup, but had some good spots throughout the season. When you look at the offseason, what's the plan as you say you are looking for a national title next year?
Yeah, I mean, you got Colton coming back, you got Gabe coming back, you got Nick coming back, and Hayden, right? That's a really good core. I'm very excited about, Gio Diaz, right? Hunter Ross at 133 pounds. Zach Parker, who had a really good redshirt year. Zach Parker beat Kyvon Grace, who was a national finalist at 141, right? And so he's coming in. We have all these other guys, Connor Svantner, so a lot of cool stuff, right? Colby Whitehill, who was a starter for us for most of the year until he got injured. And so we still got guys, right? Guys that were redshirt, and Ethan Hardy, Nick Copley, they're all red shirts this year. That they're going to want to get in there and scrap. So we got a lot of good guys before we ever go looking for other guys as well.
Yep.
But yeah, the portal opens, like I said, it opens tomorrow, and, it's already open for some of the graduates and other situations. And, it gets really stressful for me right now. Yeah, it's just so much. It's almost overwhelming because you're gonna have 100+ kids get in tomorrow, and you don't want to miss out on one that possibly wants to come here or would come here, but just because you overlooked them. But yeah, we're trying to get into that portal season, and then also recruit the high schoolers. And so we got 7 high schoolers coming in this week. I got 3 coming in today, right? And so. It never really stops. I took yesterday off and tried to just reset mentally after this weekend. But, I think I got 17 high schoolers coming in the next 2 weeks.
Busy man.
And so, yeah, it's going to get busy with visits. And then on top of it, you start getting into the portal season. And so that starts getting some different conversations. But yeah, we're gonna go after the portal kids. We're gonna go after West Virginia kids and high schools, and then we got some out of the state high schoolers too that we're looking at. And then we've already got commitments and signed from Jimmy Bales at Woodrow and Bryce Nichols up at Fairmont Senior. So really excited about those 2 West Virginia guys coming in and being Global State wrestlers next year.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and congrats on another great season.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I've had softball coach Sara Scoone. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, you were at Florida for the spring games. You went 5-3. You picked up a nationally ranked win, the first ever under your leadership. How do you feel the trip to Florida went overall?
I think the trip to Florida overall was great. We came out of there with some really high highs. We came out of there with a lot of things to look back on that we did well. Our pitching looked phenomenal. Our hitting was consistent. There were a couple things that we need to work on. I think when the change of the pace kind of changed up in a couple games, that affected us. We'll work on that. There are little things here and there that we take out of that. But overall, I'm so proud of them for how they played. And yeah, the nationally ranked win, all credit to the girls. They just didn't stop. Mm-hmm. I wish you could have been there to see it. It was just inning after inning. Like, the energy was great. The hitting was great. The pitching was great. The defense was great. Defense is really showing up lately. And it's just, I'm very proud of them. I could talk about it forever.
And in those 3 losses you had, you only lost by a combined 4 runs. 2 of them were extra innings. And the last one against Shepherd, you're down, I believe, 8-1, 8-2. You got the tying run on second base with 2 outs in the 7th to have a chance to tie it. When you look back at those games and those types of games in general, what would you like to see done differently just to be able to come out on top on those types of games?
So I think each game had a little bit of a different. I wouldn't say like mishap, but each loss was different. The game with Shepherd, our defense had 1 bad inning that came back and bit us in the butt. And then, you look at the game with, I don't know even how to say this school's name.
Bemidji?
Is that how you say it?
Bemidji, yeah.
The pace of that game was so up and down, and you never want to make an excuse. I think we need to do better when umpires slow down the game. We need to bounce back better with that. And then you look at the Winona game, and I mean, what a game!
It was a great game.
Yeah, it was a great game. I can't take anything away from the players there. Every loss was so different for us, and I think that's something, that you look back on and you're like, okay, well, it's not something consistent. Here's like little things here and there, but the second those little things are worked on and, done and fixed, I mean, you're looking at a good ball team. So, I'm excited. I'm super proud. But one thing that I would put like a nail in the head of what we want to do different, I can't think of something. The girls work hard day in and day out, and we just have to keep that up.
And then you opened NBC play this past weekend on Friday and Saturday with UC and West Virginia State. You split with Charleston. You swept State. When you look at UC first, you beat them 6-5 in Game 1, lost 7-1 in Game 2. You beat them for the first time since 2022. I believe it had been 10 straight losses. They had a really good run these past 2 seasons, back-to-back champions. When you think about opening NBC play with a split against a team like Charleston, how do you feel that went?
Charleston's a great team, and when you bounce back after going to the World Series, you're very confident, and I think confidence has to match with confidence in games like that. And our girls showed up. They were ready to win. They looked like they were in denial. They were resilient. It didn't matter really what happened. They were going to win that game. And it was an all-hands-on-deck type of game, too. We had 3 pitchers throw. We had 10 hitters hit. I mean, it was a lot, that game. Do I wish we took 2? Yeah. But I'm very proud of them for that. Next time we're looking to take 2. And then, you go to State and the bats were just hot. The girls are playing so resilient right now, and I'm so proud of that. As a coach, you coach all these mechanics and you coach all these fundamentals, and then you get in there and you want to see that blossom, and then it does. But what's really exciting is when you see your team who you've had on the field since freshman. I mean, you look around the field and we have so many starters that have been starting since their freshman year, and then you see them blossom into this confident, resilient, I'm going to do what I can to win player, and it's just, that's the real gold in it. So I'm super proud of them for that.
And then some performances that were highlighted this past week. Zaylee Seda, Kylie Burdick got co-player and co-pitcher. We talked after the games at State that you had 3 players who could have got nominated for Player of the Week, and that's never a bad problem to have whatsoever. What did you think of Zaylee's and Kylie's performances, even going back to the spring games and also this past weekend?
They're just consistent. Kylie's been on fire. Kylie, it's such a great thing. Like I said, Kylie's been a starter since freshman year, and to see her craft kind of flourish, and she's just a junior. This is halfway through. You have your junior year left, you have your senior year left, and you're seeing someone now on the mound who's not just performing well but leading, and she's stepping up. Even when she gets beat, she's not getting beat twice. And it's great to see that out of her. And then you see, Zaylee's came in as a really strong transfer, and she bought into the Pioneer way that we like to teach, and she's been consistent in the leadoff spot. She's aggressive. She's swinging at great pitches. Truly, I'm so proud. I think we've had a lot of coaches shows in the past where we're like, oh yeah, bounce back. And I'm so proud of not just those 2, but the whole team in general. It's so next man up right now. And, I feel like I have 21 starters. It's so great when the lineup is hard to make. I'm just proud.
And now you start out the conference play 3-1. You're back on the road this weekend once again with West Virginia Wesleyan and D&E. Wesleyan, you've been able to see them a few times, not playing them, but just seeing them in Florida, seeing them here in Glenville. D&E, a team who you played last year in the MC tournament, they've been really good these past couple of years as well. What's it going to take this weekend to have another 3-1 weekend, maybe a 4-0 weekend, to start out conference play even stronger?
No win ever comes easy, and Wesleyan and D&E are great teams. They have great coaches, and they're very athletic. And for us to win, we're going to have to trade runs with them. We're going to have to move runners around the bases. Pitching will show up again. Defense will show up. And hopefully if there's, any part that's missing, you have a part that's so good that it comes out on top of that. You know what I mean? So as long as the girls stay together, play together, understand that no matter what inning it is, things can go higher, things can go lower, and to stay even keel, they're on the money. And I'm proud of them. And I, would love to say I expect a 4-0 weekend, but this is softball and you never know what to expect. So, but my goal going out there this weekend is just to see the girls play hard, to see them be aggressive, to see them do the right things at the right time.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on, and good luck this week.
Thank you so much.